Hello, it is me again, Andrew Marin. I am in Omaha, Nebraska, sitting in the fantastic library of the Heuertz family. Sitting next to me is Chris Heuertz, who is the International Director of Word Made Flesh. Is that International Director? International Director of Word Made Flesh. So what I want to do, just ask him a couple questions, give a couple shameless plugs because I love him, what he does, and then ask him two questions surrounding the church and homosexuality. So I hope you guys enjoy this. First and foremost, this is Chris's book, and just so you all see it extra close, you see this bad boy? It's called Simple Spirituality by InterVarsity Press. Came out last year. Last year, right? And I read this sucker right when it came out, and it really touched my heart. Chris has spent a lot of time all over the world. I'll let him tell you a little bit about that. So you can pick this up on Amazon or InterVarsity Press's website, or even better, go to wordmadeflesh.org. So wordmadeflesh.org. Or this awesome shirt that I'm wearing is also part of the swag you can find on Word Made Flesh's website. And once again, that's wordmadeflesh.org. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself and what Word Made Flesh does.
Yeah, Word Made Flesh is a community of contemplative activists that are called and committed to serving Christ among the most vulnerable of the world's poor. And so we are located in and around favelas and refugee camps, slum communities, and red light districts all around the world, and in South America, South Asia, Eastern Europe, and West Africa. And vocationally, we give ourselves in relationship to women and children who have been caught up in the commercial sex industry, victims of human trafficking, former child soldiers, populations of women and children that live and work on the streets. We set up community centers, drop-in centers, children's homes, advocacy programs, and we do this as an act of worship. We do this as an intentional commitment to bearing witness to hope, and the hope that there is the possibility of a good God in a world that has legitimate reasons to question God's goodness.
And that's the unique thing about what Chris does. That's the unique thing about Word Made Flesh. I mean, these people literally go where nobody else wants to go. I mean, we were just talking a little bit ago, and Chris was saying how one of the great things that they do too, interns. They have interns from universities and colleges go to their different communities all over the world. But it's literally these experiences and going to places that like I said, not only does no one want to go, but then they show love in tangible ways that says, listen, you have a legitimate reason to not believe in Christ, but here's us, and here's what we do. And Chris actually lived in South India for 3 years, so you want to tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, when I graduated from Asbury College in Kentucky, I moved almost immediately to then Madras, now Chennai, South India, and I was young and ambitious and a driven person then, and within 3 months was able to put together an Indian board of directors. We built a really solid, really grounded Indian staff, and we opened the first pediatric AIDS care home in all of South Asia for children who are HIV positive or in fact suffering from AIDS, and then children who are orphaned because their parents had died from AIDS. In that home we also started a baby rescue for victims of female infanticide, and then we started a concurrent aspect to that children's homes that created safe place, refuge really, safe haven for women who were escaping the commercial sex industry and in danger of their lives, and that offered them rehabilitation, job training. It created, I think, an on-ramp for them to sort of re-engage society with a little bit of healing and I think dignity reaffirmed.
Yeah, that's a 23-year-old kid rolling out there doing that stuff. So that's awesome. I mean, he's not 23 now, but so you want to tell us a little bit about your book, and then we can get to the other questions. So tell us a little bit about Simple Spirituality, subtitle, Learning to See God in a Broken World. Once again, wordmadeflesh.org. You can get this.
Yeah. me was confessional. The book for me was sort of a testament of my journey, a journey that I would sort of describe as stumbling forward into the loving embrace of God. It's story driven. It's full of reflections, and I think it poses, I think, some really honest questions about how do we live our faith relevantly in a world that's marked by suffering and oppression and injustice, and how do we make sense of sort of our faith journey, not in an insulated or isolated reality, but in a reality that engages suffering, that affirms that there are some really difficult things happening right now that nobody has good answers for. Nobody's had good answers for them, and maybe we'll never have answers. But where do we place our faith as we grapple with the issues and grapple with the questions? So it's about spiritual formation. It's about questions, and it's about sort of this hopefulness of learning to celebrate, ultimately the last chapter, learning to celebrate the spirituality of brokenness before God and in context and community.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate this. Chris's love, Chris's honesty, Chris's humility pours out of every page of this book. It reeks of Chris Heuertz, and so I appreciate this. I appreciate this opportunity. So I'm going to